Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a little game called Boast or Nothing. This is a game with very whimsical art. You can kind of see on my hand of cards right here, you can see some whimsical art there, and you can see here some mechanisms that I'll mention in a second. Specifically, one interesting mechanism in the game, I think this really does help the game in act a little bit differently than other trick-taking games, because this is a trick-taking game. It's a game where you are trying to win a trick out of a hand of cards. Everyone's playing a card on the table. You're trying to potentially win that trick. But the suit that wins the trick it's a little tough to describe, but the power levels of the different suits are shown on this stack of tokens. And so if a red card wins the trick, this red token goes to the bottom of the pile, and yellow becomes the more powerful suit, with blue second to it. So there isn't really a trump suit. There's an order of value of the suits. So for example, if a blue, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, but if a blue 9 is played, a red 1 could beat it because red is inherently better than any blue card, for example. And so the value of the cards in your hand is constantly shifting throughout the game. The timing of this stack is really, really crucial and a very tough puzzle to figure out, as was my experience in my first play of this game. I enjoy that mechanism a lot. I also think there's another mechanism that I might place even higher on the list. There's a short track here that shows the order of how many points each player has. You're trying to get to the top of the track, you instantly win the game if you get there. And there's no bidding in this game. Like, there are a bunch of trick-taking games where you say, I think I'm going to win 3 tricks in this hand of cards. And if you're correct, you get some points. If you're incorrect, maybe you lose some points or you don't get any points. In Boast or Nothing, the name kind of says it all. You are either trying to win 2 tricks or 0 tricks. And you don't have to decide up front. It's something that you can decide on the fly. It can happen in the round. So you might be going for 0, but then you might take 1 trick and then you're going for 2. Otherwise, you don't score any points. And if you score 0, you get 2 points on this little track. If you get 2 cards, you get 1 point. So it's a little bit better to go to 0. It's very difficult to go for 0. And it means at a certain point in the round, all of the other players are trying to make sure that you win a trick if you've not won a single trick that entire hand. But there's something about this little twist here of going for 2 or 0 that really made the game interesting to me. Because there are times where you can definitely take a hand of cards, and so you're taking it and then deciding by doing so that you are going to try to win 2 tricks. But then when do you win that second trick? Do you wait to the final round of the trick? And if you do, will the value of the cards in your hand work out? How can you play the cards so that you can time this exactly right? Or do you try to win that trick right away to ensure that you have those 2 tricks and then avoid taking tricks for the rest of the round? And there's also the strategy, on almost any given turn, the game kind of incentivizes you to go for the 0 strategy, to not win any tricks. But not all players can do that. Someone has to win these tricks. And so it's just a tough decision point. There's something about those numbers that the game designer chose, 0 and 2, that work really, really well for this game. And yeah, that's my favorite mechanism. There's something about trying to win 0 or 2, not having to declare up front, and having those variable values of the suits impact your ability to plan ahead based on the cards in hand. You know what cards you have in hand, but you don't know how valuable they'll be at the time that you need them to be worth a lot or worth a little. All that comes together for a really unique experience here in Boast or Nothing. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've played this game, or if this reminds you of another game with changing suit values, or where you're trying to win a very specific number of things. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.